Now we're at the press conference room, and soon we're going to meet the team behind the movie Vice, and we're going to meet the director, Adam Mckay, and the main actor, Christian Bale.
Starting from your left, please welcome the director, screenwriter, and producer, Adam Mckay. Welcome. And the wonderful actor who played Dick Cheney, Christian Bale. The next one.
My name is Marcus, work for Swedish television. First of all, I also want to say Christian Bale, great job with the acting part.
Thank you.
How did you prepare yourself for the role? And Adam Mckay, can you tell us a little bit about the research work for this movie?
Well, first off was just going, what, Adam, you want me to play Cheney? You know, because you don't really think, well, I hope you don't think Christian Bale Cheney. I'd be more disturbed if you did think that. So it's actually nice that people went, scratching their heads, that doesn't seem right. But I felt the same way. But I mean, you know, kudos, look at the vision that this man had, that I didn't see it, but he saw it. And we just said, all right, you know, give me a bit of time to do a bit of research and start doing some of the, gaining some of the weight and doing some of the prosthetics and whatnot, and just seeing if I could get into that. And then you know, got handed on a silver platter, this incredible script, incredible character, director, crew, castmates, everything like that. And, you know, he knew, just much like Cheney, you know, the symbolism of the fishing. He was fishing and he knew I would get hooked to it. So it's but what also was nice, it's lovely to have a challenge, isn't it? And keeps you going in life. And it seemed almost impossible. So it felt like, right, I really want to give that a shot. And the tantalizing seduction of failing miserably at something as well, of going, oh, I really could bugger that up. So that let's do it in that case and see how we turn out. You know, it's always that fine line of it really landing well or it just being bloody awful.
As far as the research goes, the whole movie was a bit of a mystery. Dick Cheney had done everything he could to leave very few breadcrumbs for historians or for certainly, you know, pikers like us to make a movie. And so, yeah, we did a lot of research. There were fortunately a lot of great journalists like Ron Suskind, Barton Gellman, Jane Mayer, who wrote amazing books. We read every article that was out there. Then at one point we hired our own journalists to go interview people from Cheney's life, off the record, of course. And the coolest point was where our extensive research started to wind into Christian's own unique research. So Christian and I would sit in his backyard and have these insane 3-4 hour conversations all about Dick Cheney. That really started to kind of dig into the question mark of who this guy was.
Both of you, Mr. Bale and Mr. Mckay, about the role of Lynn Cheney, because in the movie it seems like she's a pushing force for Dick, and she plays really huge role in his becoming what he became. So how did you both understand her role, and how did you explain it to herself?
Yeah. You know, by many accounts, you know, he was a very a devoted father, certainly a husband as well. And as you said, you know, it was Lynn who really gave him that ambition. In many ways, she was sort of her avatar. That she was, because of you know, sexism, she was not able to go to Yale. She was not able to do all the things that he could. And they joke about that anybody who would have married Lynn would have been vice president. Without Lynn, he probably would have been very happy, still being a line, you know, man up in Wyoming. His family were all Democrats. You know, his father worked in soils, and you know, we wouldn't have had the Iraq War. without her. And yeah, what you highlight there is he is a man of endless contradictions. You know, in terms of what you said there. How can he have these paternal instincts, but which also we saw towards the end of the film, the very sad public spat, you know, after the sisters fell out, and yet still apparently have no regrets, you know, claims that he would do it all again in a minute. Absolute refusal to, you know, back down. You know, and you know, and after misleading almost everybody, but very personal friends, was the whole thing with Dick Armey and whatnot, that claiming that, you know, the whole smoking gun, the mushroom cloud and everything, and all about the WMDs, and then afterwards saying it didn't matter that nobody found those WMDs. This is apparently absolute hypocrisy there. It's endlessly fascinating, and the thing that I kept on always asking myself was, well, you know, do the demons come to him at night time? You know, he claims not, but can that really be true? Can anybody truly, you know, sleep well after having done, you know, what he did, leading people into a grossly unethical war, and yet still be a good dad, right? So, but that was very much what we wanted to portray, is show that, you know, you know, monsters come in all sorts of shapes and sizes, and some may be incredibly... he always had that very avuncular sort of a feel, like you were in very good hands with him, and soothing, assuring voice and reassurance, etc. And that's far more a realistic way to approach him. But believe me, there's just endless questions that I would have for the gentleman after studying him, you know, for such a long time. He's a conundrum.
That's really the core question too, is that question of how can someone love their family? How can someone, you know, Dick Cheney cooks dinner for his family every night. He does the shopping. He's very funny. And I think we're kind of living in an age where that's the question. If you look at modern civilization, you know, how can CEOs for oil companies go and do their job while destroying the planet, actively, you know, in the long run, maybe killing millions, if not billions of people. Yet I'm sure plenty of these oil CEOs, their grandkids would say, oh, what grandpappy's great, you know. And yeah, like, so this idea of how do you live this seemingly normal life while atrocities surround your actions? And I think what we've learned is that, you know, that small little center circle of family and backyard doesn't, most people can do that. It's got to go bigger than that. But it was definitely what drew us to Dick Cheney and that question, that contradiction. Oh, and then you were asking about Rumsfeld? Rumsfeld's a fun character. Rumsfeld, we did a lot of research on him. And there's actual tapes of Nixon and Haldeman and those guys saying, watch out for that Donald Rumsfeld. He'll kill your mother to get ahead. And these are some of the great creeps of the 20th century. This is Nixon and Haldeman. And they were even saying that Donald Rumsfeld had very little moral compass. So, you know, obviously Steve did research on his own, but the fun of Donald Rumsfeld was, boy, he really didn't care. I mean, it was all just about him climbing forward and getting ahead. And I thought Steve played him with a kind of mad terror in his eyes that almost could be described as comedic, but more likely described as psychopathic.
Okay, so don't hate me, but we have a tight schedule. We are really grateful for your many questions. Thank you very much. And thank you very much for showing us this fantastic film.